Ugh. DuckTales Remastered. What am I gonna do with you? Think of it like this. You ever read a book and then watched the movie based on the book? Like The Wizard of Oz. The shoes are silver in the book, red in the movie. Now, they both work perfectly in their respective contexts, but it's still different. So you might read the book and then watch the movie and say, hey, well, why was this changed? Well, the answer is it was changed because it's a different medium. It's reinterpreted to fit its purposes in this new... It's a translation. It can't be the same. It'll never be the same. That's the problem I have with DuckTales Remastered.
Cuss me, kilts. Me money bin alarm. Quick, Duckworth, get the limo.
I shall, get her in gear, sir.
Hurry, Duckworth, hurry!
The pedal is to the middle, Mr. McDuck.
Oh, not the Beagle Boys again. If they think they can stand between Scrooge McDuck and his 3 cubic acres of cash, they've got another thing coming.
With DuckTales Remastered, I know all the levels, because I know the NES version. But the levels are also put to different purposes. There's a lot more collecting going on, forced backtracking, and the music is the same.
Uncle Scrooge! Uncle Scrooge up here!
Oh, Huey, are you all right, my boy?
Yeah, but you better watch out. The Beagle Boys messed with your security system.
Yeah, we've taken over the whole place.
Yeah, me money.
Hey, don't forget about me, Uncle Scrooge.
Eh? Oh, don't worry, lad, I'll save you.
Mama, be so... Now that's what I call a stomach ache.
You were hit on the head, you moronic marauder.
Thanks, Uncle Scrooge.
You're welcome, lad. But Huey, what are you doing here?
Well, we saw the Beagle Boys going into the money bin and...
We?
Sure, Louie and Dewey are here, too. You better hurry, Uncle Scrooge. We might be in trouble.
No, that's what I call a stomach ache. That always gets me. Anyway, so DuckTales is like this specter hanging over DuckTales Remastered. I find it impossible to take DuckTales Remastered on its own. As for the gameplay mechanics, you get a fun pogo stick to jump on stuff, and I mean, if you've ever seen someone play the NES game, it's just them constantly bouncing. It's an insanely fun game in that respect. Capcom and Disney kind of had a thing for just really fun and tight platforming back in the late 80s, early 90s, with games like Chip and Dale and Aladdin and Magical Quest. Capcom Disney games have that trademark, Capcom sense of purpose and tightness to all the gameplay mechanics, but they always had a sense of fun to them as well. Aladdin was sort of Prince of Persia if everything was made out of trampolines. DuckTales, however, is unique among the batch because Capcom Disney games typically have pretty straightforward level structures.
Sandwich or something? Let me go, you big old bum!
Not even for an afternoon snack. Big time in trouble, man.
Get away from him, you gluttonous goon.
Sorry, Scroochy. Not a chance.
Check this puzzle out.
I'm stuck. Woohoo!
You saved me, Uncle Scrooge!
Aye, I did. Are you hurt, lad?
Nah, I'm fine. But I saw Louie heading up the stairs with about 1,000 Beagle Boys right behind him.
Stay here. I'll handle this.
Anyway, I'd say that DuckTales is one of the more interesting Capcom Disney platformers, because it starts out like a typical linear platformer, but by the end, you've got these big mazes to traverse. In the moon stage, you have to pick up an item from one part of the stage, drag it all the way across to another part, almost like you're playing, Dizzy with this fetch item quest. And DuckTales Remastered really builds on that promise. In pretty much all of the stages, you've got that going on, where you have to collect items and bring them to other places in the stage and suss out mazes, stuff like that. So it makes sense, given that the Way Forward gives us this intro stage that isn't in the NES version, because after this stage, you're really in the thick of it, so you need to know Scrooge's mechanics right off the bat. And this stage does a good job of it, with those mallets that require pretty precise timing. Also teaching you stuff like, you can hit rocks to knock down chests, stuff like that. Now, you'll also notice that this Way Forward version has the original voice actors. That's pretty cool. I'll admit, it's not their best performance, but they don't do a bad job either. And I really appreciate just hearing Scrooge one more time. I don't know, it really gets to me.
Hold on, lad. I'll have you free in a jiffy.
Not so fast, McDuck. We're running things around here now.
Cuss me, tilt. One false move and I'm a roast duck.
Leave me, Uncle Scrooge. It's not worth it.
Nonsense, me boy. Oh, drat.
You'll never beat us.
Like, to pass this trap, it's not hard, but it also just gives you an idea of how fast Scrooge moves, If you're not careful, you're going to walk into a laser, and if you don't move fast enough, the laser's going to catch up with you.
Ow!
Woohoo! We almost got them all!
A fat lot of good that'll do us if they make it to me vault.
The stage also introduces you to the game's affinity for environments that are much larger than their characters. Like, if Scrooge walked into that background and tried to open one of those doors, do you think he could even reach the doorknob? I kind of like the, 3D versus sprite thing going on, but that part of it I really don't get. I don't get why the environments are so huge.
Step away from me, fortune, you crook.
Not this time, McDuck. Oh, you ain't getting the drop on this Beagle Boy.
Anyway, this boss in particular is pretty simple. He just walks back and forth and you get to hit him once around. He actually plays out a lot more simply than the rest of the bosses in Remastered, and in that regard, it feels much more in keeping with the original NES DuckTales. I guess it's also worth noting that this game has a quote-unquote easy pogo feature, where in the NES original you had to hold down and B in order to do a pogo jump. And in this one, you can just jump and press B. But more so than easy pogo, that's really just DuckTales 2 pogo.
Everything's ready, son.
Curse you, McDuck! This ain't the last you'll see of me!
Yeah, good riddance to bad beagles, I say. Now, why in the world was he interested in this old painting? Surely there are more valuable... Well, pluck me pin feathers. It looks like some kind of secret code. Boys! Boys!
What did you find, Uncle Scrooge? Yeah, what is it?
I'm not sure, but I know how to find it out. I'll feed it into my supercomputer and use Gyro's new crypto analysis program. Then we'll know what the Beagle Boys were after. Stand back, lads. look at Doon.
What is it, Uncle Scrooge?
It's a treasure map, lads. And no ordinary treasure by the look of things.
Only Uncle Scrooge would call any kind of treasure ordinary. Look! One of the treasures is in the middle of the Amazon. And there's another one in Transylvania. And one buried 10 miles underground. Hey, wait a minute. Something's screwy. This last treasure can't be right. Yeah, there's no mountain on Earth that's that high. Well, according to the Junior Woodchuck's guidebook, to get there we'd have to take about 537 million steps straight up till we reach the moon. You mean the moon?
It looks that way, lads. Well, what are we waiting for? That treasure's not going to discover itself.
Well, looks like that's it for this time. I'll see you next time for the Amazon. We'll be playing the stages in order from top to bottom. I don't get why you can choose in any order you like, because I really think the game works best from top to bottom. But, I'm not a programmer. Wait a minute. Be well, do good work, and keep in touch.